Um, Tonight, I want to talk about why we need to overcome the lingering effects of abuse. Many of us have experienced abuse in childhood, experienced abuse in adulthood. Let me just pop off this here. And experience abuse in our adult life as well. And we may move on, or we may think that, okay, we have overcome it, we're not bothering with it, or we ignoring it in some way. But without even realizing, sometimes, some people do, without realizing sometimes, there are lingering effects, and these things are hindering us from pursuing our purpose, pursuing the plan of God for our lives, pursuing our dreams, even preventing us sometimes from even dreaming. Okay. And so, what are some of these lingering effects and the abuse? Now, the abuse, I'm not going to go into that tonight because I have other videos where I talk about different forms of abuse, right? Physical, emotional, psychological, mental, verbal abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, right? But for me, in my based on my experience, because I'm an abuse overcomer as well, based on my experience, emotional abuse is like an umbrella. Like anytime you are affected by any one of them, there is emotional abuse because of how it makes you feel, of the pain that you go through, the emotional pain, and how sometimes we can end up so emotionally jacked up. Okay. So you may ask the question, what are the lingering effects of abuse that can be limiting you and hindering you from fulfilling your dreams and your purpose? Okay. And so the first one I want to share is not feeling good enough. You may feel that I'm not good enough for this. I don't deserve this. I am not smart enough. I don't really know how to do this thing. Or I am not, for some person, I'm not pretty enough. I don't look good. Those are thoughts that come in. And so, what I want to also share mainly is that the lingering effects most often show up as thoughts in our mind. They show up as the thoughts that come to our mind, right? And based on those thoughts, it determines how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about a situation. And based on those thoughts and those feelings, we act or we don't act, right? We act or we don't act. And so one of the lingering effects is the thoughts about myself not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being pretty enough. Okay. Another one is difficulty trusting people. If you're somebody like that, you find it hard to trust people. And so, for that reason, when it comes to relationships and with people, you kind of limited or pull back. I know that's something that I suffered from. Trusting people, always wanted to be sure that that's okay. And I had something I usually said is that everybody, I put them in circles of love. Around me are circles of love. And, just like with Jesus, he had an inner circle, and we all would have the inner circle. And I just make sure that everyone that comes across my path gets some kind of love. Even the absolute stranger will get hello and courtesy and respect, right? Circles of love. And then like I used to say about myself, I control how you come closer and closer to me. When you go back to the root of that is not trusting people, having a difficulty trusting people. It doesn't mean that you should just go off and trust everybody and they walk right into your life and then they cause hurt and pain, but not overly going over the board with trusting people, with not trusting people. I decided extremes can be painful. We pay a price, right? So that's another lingering effect of abuse, some form of abuse, either in childhood or adult. Difficulty trusting people. Another one is guilt, taking on guilt for what happened to you, taking on the guilt and in some way responsibility for what happened in that toxic or abusive situation, whether it's childhood or adult, where you start to look and start taking responsibility for things that is not your fault. Not your fault, but you kind of look for that. And then when you can find something that you can feel, okay, maybe it's my fault. Maybe if I didn't do it this way, maybe if I didn't do that way, then we justify the abuser's behaviors. And then it can make you feel a little okay, but that's guilt. That's guilt. And a lot of times it's not somebody putting it on you, it's you putting it on yourself, guilt tripping yourself that maybe I contributed, maybe I, even if you did some things that, that were not right, it does not justify or excuse how you're treated. No, no, no. Nobody deserves to be treated badly. Okay, nobody. Okay, so that is another lingering effect of being in abusive situations, right, where you were treated not well. Another one is that you make poor decisions in relationships and work situations. Not only a person relationship, but also on the job. Make poor decisions, sometimes not making a decision, and sometimes not making a decision is a poor decision to make anyhow, right? But that is a lingering effect of abuse. You find somebody who, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. I'm not sure what to do. Or in the heat of the moment, just make a decision. Or in the indecision, just go along, decided to go along with the flow. Okay. That's a lingering effect of abuse. That could be. Okay. Because it's not healthy, and it's not the best for you necessarily. Okay. Not necessarily. The other one I want to share is another lingering effect of abuse is you have difficulty creating boundaries in relationships. I have another video where I talk about boundaries, more than one probably. I probably need to do a new one soon. Boundaries, setting boundaries in relationships. And boundaries is not about putting controls on the other person, it's about making decisions about what works for me and what wouldn't work for me, and letting people know that it's not going to work for me. That's not okay for me. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with that, right? Lingering effect of abuse is not being able to create healthy boundaries in relationships, in your person and on the job. Okay. And coming under that is being afraid to ask for what we want. Afraid to ask for what you want. That is a lingering effect that gets in the way of us progressing or getting what we deserve. Okay. Being an emotional wreck, well, that one, is so common. Coming out of abuse, being an emotional wreck, fear, lots of fear of persons, fear of reactions. When it comes to persons, just fear of the reaction, how somebody will react if you say what you want and you say what you don't like. That fear of reaction is also anxiety, worried about when, like walking on eggshells. When is something going to go wrong? And so you just pause and waiting, and then to jump in and probably people please or bring the peace. Those are lingering effects of abuse that doesn't work for us necessarily. Okay. Another, and the last one I'm going to share, but lingering effects, is haunted by the words. So while you may be physically not in the presence of the abusive person or the toxic person, you are still affected by the words that they said, that it's just going around in your mind. And you're using that, and sometimes that is used to determine your actions, because pondering on those words, which most times are just negative, not positive or uplifting for you, pondering on those words will then lead you into that negative emotions and feelings, and then we take action based on that. And a lot of times it's not in our, most times, not in our best interest. So those are the lingering effects of abuse that I wanted to share and bring awareness. And if you could identify yourself there, then you probably want to know, well, how did that come about, or where did that come from? Why am I the way I am? Some people live asking that, why am I so soft? Why am I so easy? Why do I allow this, right? And you find that the two big reasons, are past experiences, past painful experiences, and the bigger one, programming from childhood, how you were programmed to handle situations. A lot of us were not taught. You were taught or you're corrected when there's a particular situation as a child. You're corrected and taught, oh, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. Okay, you need to apologize if you do something wrong. This person needs to apologize to you. Or like someone reminded me recently of, as children, the parents would make, the mom would say, you have to come and apologize to your sister and you or your brother, and you have to hug them, and you have to do this. Now, this is somebody who would have hurt you, right? Being made to come and apologize. Now, after that, you learn after this person apologizes, then you are okay. And so the programming there is that you are not okay until somebody else does something. And that kind of programming really gives control over to the other person about my happiness. I'm giving control to the other person about my happiness if I can be okay unless or until this person takes a particular action. They either apologize to me, or they provide for me, or they give me something, or they say something, say they love me, or I get an external validation or satisfaction. That's when I'm going to be okay. And can you see how if we put that in some people's hands, some people will do it because they were trained as the right thing to do, and they feel that's okay, right? But then there's some people who just isn't going to do it at all because they're not wired that way. And so there you would be, or there I would be, just stuck in an unhappy place because somebody else did not do something to make me okay. And so the programming we had in childhood works for childhood because it was teaching morals, it was teaching, like apologizing, being respectful of others. But if you check, it did not teach us how to be happy. And our happiness is our responsibility. We were not taught how to be happy. And that is why when we come into adulthood now, the lingering effects and the things that we're expecting of others just doesn't work. Those things don't work. We looking for happiness and we can't find it, right? Because in adulthood, there's some differences, coming into collaboration, or not a collaboration, is clashing with another human being that has different values and thoughts and behaviors that is out of your control. You cannot control another adult, right? Like we could control children. And so programming is a key and significant reason why we have these lingering effects and why it's messing up our lives now. Okay. And so you might ask, okay, now that I know that this is what's going on with me, what can I do? What can I do? Now, I would say the number one thing is having an understanding and an awareness of the source of your pain, the source of these lingering effects that you're having, the source of the thoughts that are coming. Basically, the source of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions that are not working for you right now. You know that you are special. You know God created you special. You're filled with gifts, and you're filled with talents, and filled with abilities. I know. I speak to myself too, right? Filled. But yet, when we try to do things, there are these limitations, like we can't get there. And if you're someone with that kind of ambition, and you are a high achiever, you want to achieve stuff, you want to go after, you want to fulfill your purpose on earth, you want to meet your goals that you're setting and stuff. But every time you go, there is some kind of blockage, some kind of thing that getting in the way. You need to know what's the root cause. And it's not a cookie cutter for everybody, because everybody's past and background and programming is so different, right? So different. So you want to be able to do that. And why we need to overcome these lingering effects, why we need to get past it, because when we overcome this, when we know what it is, we know how to manage it. Some of them don't go away totally. We know how to manage it. We know how to correct some of our ways and things like that, you find you get a chance to find your voice again. You learn how to set boundaries again for healthy relationships so that you are no longer abused and taken advantage of. You learn how to get back your power, your self-esteem, your confidence. You learn how to have the courage to stand up and say what you need to say without the fear of the reaction of somebody else. Um, and in particular, now I'm not talking about physical, because if you know you confront somebody, they're gonna physically harm you. You want to be wise about that, but not the physical. It's the emotional reaction that some persons are abusers in particular are masterful at using their emotions to manipulate and control others who would have some of these lingering effects. Okay. And so you when you get to learn how to identify your sources and how to overcome them, that's where it places you in that better place, right? You learn how to identify the limiting beliefs that keep you stuck and sabotage your success. You would find that there are things that you're believing, that you were taught, and that you were made to believe, that is the block. That is the limitation. That's what's holding you back from enjoying the life you were created to have or you deserve to have. Okay. Sorry. And so I want to encourage you tonight to tap into this area of your life. You know, as Christians, we will learn. We are all human, Christians or not. We are body, soul, and spirit. As believers, as Christians, we pay a lot of attention to the spiritual. So things are not okay, and we will pray and we will fast and we will do all of that, and that's all good. We pay attention to our body. We may be able to rest, or we go exercise, we work out, or whatever. We probably choose to eat right. But the soul is often neglected or not given the attention, the equal amount of intention like the spiritual. It is not. And that's the area where is your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. That's the area where the lingering effects are. That's the area where abuse really does its damage. Okay. But somehow it gets neglected in a way. And so we want to be able to overcome, get past these lingering effects, learn how to manage anything that's not yet away from us. It's still there, and we just admit it. Learn how to manage it, learn how we're working on getting better than that, so that we can transition, so that that transformation can happen deep in that area, and that you can come out and learn how to thrive, even if the situations are still around you, because people are still around, right? But learn how to thrive, how to have your inner peace, how to make the best decisions for you, how to come from that place of being a victim and just surviving to thriving and living a life that you deserve, that God has designed for you. Okay? That God has designed for you in spite of what has happened in the past, right? Because God's plan for us is good. And that is not changed and redesigned by the experiences that other persons have brought our way, right? So that these experiences happen. We're not being naive. It happened, but let's face it, let's accept it so that we can move to that next level. Okay, so that's what I want to share with you tonight. I want to thank you for who's hopping in, who's watching, right? If you're watching this on the replay, I should have said this at the beginning, just put hashtag replay so I know that you dropped by. If this kind of topic that I talk about, which is helping women, empowering women to emerge and to come out from these past lingering effects of abuse, if this is a topic that interests you or something you experience and you're looking to really get understanding and have some questions answered, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you know when stuff is out, when I put out my videos, and so that you can get help and get content. Now, if you feel you need someone to help you to talk with, to get better clarity and understanding, I invite you to make contact with me. My website is liftinglimitinglids.com. And you want to go there and schedule a call and let's have a conversation as to if I can help you, right? And if I can't, I'll tell you, right? If it's a good fit and if I can help you. Okay. I have other programs. I have a an amazing 6-week program that I have a group of women going through right now. Amazing transformation, amazing results every week. They come back and talking about how they've changed and how they're responding so differently. Okay. And so if you're interested in that, liftinglimitinglids.com, and you want to go there, schedule a call with me, and let's talk to see if you're a good fit, if the program will help you. Okay, if the program will help you. And so that's all for tonight. God bless you, bring you enlightenment, bring you awareness, coming to knowing who you are so that you can become who you were created to be and who you deserve to be, and have the life you deserve to have, and have the career you deserve to have. Okay, so thank you. God bless you. Good night.